So today we're talking about the 5 most deadliest knives. However, we do have 2 honorable mentions, and you're going to understand why I had to bring them up. They didn't make the top 5, but let's start it off with the honorable mention. So the first honorable mention is the gun knife. Now, I had to put it in here because, of course, a gun knife is going to be deadly in the right situations. However, it's so low on the list, or it didn't even make the 5, because it's half gun, half knife. It really doesn't do one thing well. Now, there's all different kinds of these. There's even one that's actually mostly a knife that is a bayonet and it has a cylinder inside the handle, making it a 6-shot 22 caliber revolver. So, which I do think, like that could be very effective in the right hands, but a lot of them are, they're not really a great gun, they're not a great knife, and it just doesn't mix well, and they break real easily. There's just a lot of issues with them, but I still consider them a very deadly knife. And the next honorable mention is, you guys are gonna love this, the prison shank. Yes, I had to put the prison shank at least in the honorable mentions. It is worldly known. It's known around the world, especially in prisons, especially in the United States. These are makeshift weapons in order to take out an opponent or to protect yourself, many different other situations, and these are made in some of the most horrendous environments known to man. So, it says something about the mindset of the people that have to make these, and they could be made basically out of anything, and there's only one purpose for it, and that is to poke and puncture. So, like I said, they can be made out of anything from fiberglass, melted down plastic, obviously metal, glass, all different kinds of materials can make prison shanks, and they are extremely deadly and are so well known around the world. I had to put it in because they have taken so many lives. Now, starting the actual list off, let's start at number 5 with the dagger. The dagger comes in many different shapes and forms, from punch daggers, push daggers, regular daggers, boot daggers, all different kinds of daggers. I think it originally became the most popular in World War I with the trench dagger. So a trench knife is a combat knife designed to kill or incapacitate an enemy at close quarters, such as in a trench or other confined areas. It was developed as a close combat weapon for soldiers attacking enemy trenches during the First World War. The trench dagger had brass knuckles with a dagger attached to it, so you could punch and bash with the brass knuckles, and the actual dagger could punch through a vest or some type of guard that maybe the soldier had on his body to protect himself. A dagger is well known for punching through bulletproof vests and things like that with enough force. So a dagger is something that can be extremely deadly in the right situations and has been in history. So like I said, it's something that's very hard to stop when it comes to puncturing, because the force of puncture with a dagger is probably the highest of any knife. The dagger is the best. It's the most piercing, and probably the best piercer out of any knife would be the dagger. Number 4 is the Bowie knife. Now, the Bowie knife comes also in many shapes and sizes, but it was originally a fixed blade fighting knife created by Resin Bowie in the early 19th century for his brother Jim Bowie, who had become famous for his use of a large knife at a duel known as the sandbar fight. But this knife has become popular in so many other designs. We have seen them in K-bars and other fighting knives that a lot of military and other places across the world have kind of adopted because of its ability to be a fighting weapon. Not only a fighting weapon, a survival knife. It can be used in the field for not only combat and fighting, it could also be used, to maybe break wood down or to start a fire and things like that. So the Bowie knife has got to make the list because it is such an iconic blade shape for a knife that's being considered as a self-defense knife or a fighting knife, period. Let's get to number 3. Number 3, the Gicomando, or also known as the Dagger. The Tri-Way Dagger has 3 blades that spiral from the handle to the tip, making it a 3-edged dagger. And this dagger is made to be extremely devastating with each poke. So when you poke with it, it's going to spiral into the assailant, making a very nasty wound. Now, it's one thing to just poke something, but it's another thing to poke and twist, which this knife takes the twist out for you, so all you have to do is poke. But it's going to twist with each poke, leaving a gaping and devastating wound that's very difficult to deal with, especially in the field. Unless a medic's right there to deal with it, you're probably gonna bleed out if you're poked with this thing, especially if you're poked multiple times. Now, the number 2 spot made the list because of its legality. It is basically the most illegal knife on the planet, and that is the Ballistics Knife. The Ballistics Knife is a blade that shoots out of the handle. It's actually a knife, and inside the handle is a compressed spring. That spring is compressed under tension, and when you're ready, you can pull the pin and push the button, and the blade will launch out like a rocket or like a bullet into the target you wish to hit. Now, to be honest, I've seen a lot of videos of these, at least remade versions. Maybe the original one was a little bit better than the remade ones, but the remade ones I've seen used weren't as good as you'd imagine. So maybe if you're within a couple feet, they'll be very effective, but if you're out of a few feet range, you're probably going to be able to dodge it, and it probably won't hurt you too bad unless if it hits you in the right area. So you do have to be pretty close, I think, for this to be very effective. You know, and I mean that very effective. I'm sure it would still hurt if you got hit beyond 15 feet. But I think the best range for it's going to be within like a 5 to 6 foot range, especially to be accurate. Now, the reason why this made the list is because of how illegal it is. It seems like every country has banned it, including the United States. The United States, it's illegal to own. I know I've tried to get one, and you know, I just can't do it for some reason. But anyways, it had to make the list at number 2, the Ballistics Knife. Let's get to number 1. Number 1, my favorite of the list, the Wasp Knife. Now, I've tried so hard to get one of these. I really want to get one, but a Wasp Knife has a CO2 air cartridge in the handle. And what happens is when you stab something, you can hit the trigger and it will shoot gas out of the tip of the knife, exploding the target you stab. It's originally designed for shark attacks or to kill a shark underwater that's attacking you. Because one poke from this, the shark's dead instantly. Instantly the shark will die because it'll be pumped full of CO2 inside the channel, the wound channel you poke into, and it will explode the shark, especially underwater. So it's probably the most deadliest knife in the world, considering how devastating it is when it hits you. Even if it was a human target, God forbid, you can imagine how crazy this wound would be. It would instantly kill you without a shadow of a doubt. No way around it. You would die instantly if you were ever poked and shot with the air of this knife. Now, it's also still a knife, so you still have also a wound channel either way. So if you ran out of air, you could still keep on using it as a weapon, but its primary purpose, like I said, is for underwater during shark attacks, which you can imagine anything that can take out a shark instantly is going to work for a lot of other things as well. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, peace.